and the nature
Well,
of
hello,
reality,
everybody.
yes.
Let me speak. Oh,
I have to say,
oh,
if
he's
there's
speaking.
one thing I miss about the time before my exilement,
It's episode 24, by the way.
was the Dark Elves' appreciation for magic and knowledge.
SpellForce 3.
Not even Kalea's universities can hold a
Soul
candle to the sanctity
Harvest.
of the intelligence in Carlebrock.
I was trying to jump between times. Soul Harvest. Oh, he's finished. Soul Harvest. SpellForce 3, Soul Harvest. Playing this through SpellForce 3 Reforced Edition. I'm IVATOPIA. Of course, Soul Harvest is a standalone expansion. That's SpellForce 3. We left off last time having a little chatty waddy with Rife here. And as you know, I don't know if I mentioned in the episode, but my phone started going off at like the 20-minute mark of the episode. So Tiffy basically was leaving work because Aurora's taken to the doctor to check her behind her ear. I think I mentioned that. And as she hadn't woken up yet. So basically, well, correction. She woke up halfway through the episode and I thought, well, let me finish the episode, then I won't get her. She's upstairs for 10 minutes. As long as she's not banging and she's fine. And she was basically fine. So then, as soon as the episode finished, I ran upstairs, shoved her on the toilet, because she wants to go to the toilet when she gets ready. And then, phone to Tiffy, that's why I was like, come on guy, I need you to finish, 25 minutes. I go, you know, like, I can't wait to 29 today. So they're just headed to the doctor now, and I've stayed, because as I mentioned a few episodes ago, again recording this on the 11th of July, that my throat's been a bit hurty and stuff like that, and the toilet thing. So just to be safe. So hopefully I'm getting one episode done now before they get back, or maybe two would be great, and then later in the week I'm going to knock out some more. Anyway, where were we? What made you leave the Dark Elven Empire?
What made you leave the Dark Elven Empire?
Long story. I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, okay. Then that's actually a short story now. It's like long story. Oh, well, okay, it's going to be a 10-minute episode of just him talking 10 minutes of the episode. Don't want to talk about that, sure. How is Dark Elven culture different from... I was going to say Neanderthals, it's not Neanderthal. Northland Tender.
How is Dark Elven culture different from Nortandian culture?
Nortandia.
In just about every aspect. Dark Elves value the collective over the individual. Hardship over pleasure. Self-control over displays of emotion.
What do you think about it?
Good question. I used to be an avid advocate of Dark Elven culture.
Not anymore.
Now that I've lived abroad for a while, I can see why most foreigners demonize us. Slavery, sacrifice, demonic incantations. It's easy to write the Exalted Father off as the epitome of evil. The truth is, however, somewhat more complex. Carlebrock's system may be brutal, but it works. Better than most societies, for that matter.
Wow. At what cost? Is there anything you missed? Yeah, at what cost?
But at what cost?
Society always means compromise. I don't think the Exalted Father rejoices in the suffering some of his servants have to endure. The only reason it seems evil to you is because you come from a different culture that values different ideals.
I guess I can see that. Anything you missed?
Is there anything you miss?
I can't say. Ever since I left, I haven't really looked back.
I suppose ever since I left. Interesting. How do you feel about being exiled?
How do you feel about being in exile?
I don't know. I suppose part of me misses having a sense of home, roots. But there's no point dwelling on the past. It is how it is.
Let me ask you something else.
Oh, we're done with the thingy. What was your profession? What made you leave? We're done.
Well, thanks for the
Got through most of the
insights.
last episode. Oh, no we didn't. I'd like to learn more about your craft.
I'd like to learn more about your craft. Mysticism.
Such as?
Can I look at me in a minute? And I missed this. Technology. Oh no. Did I miss this? What the fudge? Was that class as mysticism? Don't know where I get mysticism from now. Said you can feel souls. How is that possible?
You said that you can feel souls. How is that possible?
Hard to describe. Though I think it's an ability every mage could learn. I've always had it. Just imagine, the sea.
Okay, the sea.
The sound of the waves. If you live near the shore, you'll probably become insensitive to it eventually, to the point where you can't even hear it anymore.
I get your point, but different.
Similar with the tapestry of souls.
Most people have the ability to sense it, but they've grown numb to the stimuli.
Oh, yeah.
That never happened for me.
So, what you're saying is you can hear the presence of a soul? A flame?
Plural, but yes. To stay within the metaphor, when the vanishing first happened, it was as though somebody dropped a stone within a perfectly unmarred sea. It caused ripples. I know that may sound a bit vague, but it's hard to explain to somebody who has never seen the tapestry at all.
And while I understand what he's saying, I used to live back in Crewe in UK. Crewe is basically a train town. That's why Crewe was built around the trains. And I lived next to the trains, and how close would you put it? White Avenue, basically. In my street, I was number 10. Unlike America, I still don't really understand this, but we have, like, you know, house 1, 2, 3, 4, as you're going across the street back and forth, etc. Like, I think it's all leaves on one side, the house on the other side. But basically, like I said, you house 1, 2, 3, etc. So obviously, being 10, and I'm not sure what we went up to. It was like a cul-de-sac. But we were about halfway up the street. And I'm trying to think of my head how many roughly. Go down, maybe 4 houses. Give or take. That'd probably be about right, wouldn't it? It'd probably be like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, about 4 houses from me. Maybe 4 houses up from me too, give or take. Something like that. And then we had a little alleyway. And you take that little small alleyway. Again, it was like a 30-second walk if you walk fast. If you want to walk slow, maybe a minute. Walks, so it's really short. And then you come to a bicycle thing. What if it was straight? It would go out to. If you go one way, it would go all the way to the other end of my street. Because when you got to that end, you turn right and go down the street, and then turn right again, and you have my street, basically like house 1, 2, etc. If you went left and go up there, you would pass this massive house called Webb House. It was huge. And go past that, you would end up coming to a petrol station. And if you went right, because it was like from the petrol station, they're all like forked off, and they would go like more round, they go around the Queen's Park. If you didn't fork off, you went straight down the road, you go further up past Junkyard, etc., etc. And that's heading towards town. That's heading towards my college, my school originally, that sort of thing. School and college basically just a similar direction, unless you counted my infants, and then you would have taken the Queen Park route. But I'm talking about high school. Anyway, go the other way, it went to a bridge that took you to West Street. But the thing about that bridge, that's where the train went under, if I'm not mistaken. The bridge was for the train. So the railway track went along there. So, in other words, I'm trying to get to how close it was to my house. And to the extent a train go past, my house would actually shake. And like you saying with the tapestry of like if you live near the sea, you hear the waves and you just get numb to it and you won't hear it anymore. I didn't even realise that happened to me with this, because and what brought me to this, when Subino Tiffy first came over and she stayed with us. I'm trying to think when, because I came over in America in 2010 with her for 3 weeks. Came back, my dad unfortunately passed. Then me and mum went back over in 2011, and I think in that same year she came back in summer and stayed for 3 months. I think that's what it was. I think I went for 3 weeks and me and mum went over, and then she came and stayed with us for 3 months. And during that time period, so in 2011, I was just randomly chatting with her in her house, and then she shot 3 hands. Oh my god, what's going on? What's going on? And this, I was like, what's wrong with you? The house is shaking. I was like, what? What do you mean? Oh yeah. Oh, it's just a train going past. What? And she was like, and she was so shocked. I didn't even notice until she pointed it out. I was like, yeah, just when a train goes past. So he says you just come numb to it living in the sea. That's my experience with a train. And I guess even though she too lived near a train track, not the same, because her train track, I'm not going to give proper direction because it's a little different, but where like mine is literally walking fast, I would say 2 minutes, 3 minutes maybe. Walking slow, I guess you can give it 5 minutes if you walk really slow, but basically the train was like 2 minutes from my house on foot. Hers is 5 minutes by car away from her. do close, but not as close. So obviously, she didn't get the house shaking as I did. So, you know, she grew up with a train track and had to deal with it going out to places and the train blocking her. And because she physically has to cross that train track to get to basically anything. So she deals with it. Oh, it's here blocking me again. We need to deal with that with the bridge. So the train went under. So that's why she didn't have the same... You know, she technically grew up with one too, like me. But she didn't have the same experience as me. Because, again, roughly it took me 20 minutes to walk to town. 20 minutes. And that's roughly 5 minutes in the car. So in other words, for her being 5 minutes to train time, that's roughly 20 minutes probably to walk. Assuming the cars were allowed the same speed in that traffic. And I got a feeling in America for that road it's faster and there's less traffic than me going to town from my house. So it's probably like 30 minutes for her to walk, maybe. So you can see the distance difference. But I was getting at when he's saying about the whole being near a sea and then you just get numb to it. I did the same, but not with a sea, with a train. Train tracking trains. So I completely understand what he's getting at with that. What does my soul look like?
What does my soul look like?
Strong.
Thank you.
Bright.
Thank you.
White, somehow.
White, huh?
It's a solid flame.
Oh, thanks.
Not as impressive as the flame of someone like Tahar.
Oh, wow.
But nonetheless, remarkable.
Wow. He's like, you're strong, white, bright, but not as good as him. Alternate reality?
You mentioned that there is more than just one reality.
That is correct.
Oh, come on, I was trying to have a drink. I thought you were going to send more than that. I picked my trick up, put it in my mouth, expected him to go into this reality. That's correct. How come I haven't heard about this?
How come I haven't heard about this?
Probably because the other realities don't affect us. I mean, think about it. Yes, there are millions of other realities out there. Some very similar to our world. Others where the principal kinds or the guardians don't even exist. But how does this impact us as individuals? Yes, the scholarly aspect is exciting, but that's about it. I think that's also the conclusion the Hibernians came to eventually. They extensively researched the matter for hundreds of years, and then just stopped.
You know about where the God of Light come from?
What do we know about the reality the God of Light comes from?
Not much, I'm afraid. Hopefully that'll change soon.
If the God of Light can enter other realities, couldn't we too?
If the God of Light can enter other realities,
So it's a crossover.
couldn't we too?
In theory, yes.
SpellForce and StarCraft.
In practice, however, I doubt that organisms such as ourselves would survive such an attempt.
Oh,
We
okay.
talked about this. But the Hibernians spent a lot of time trying to transport living beings into other realities through minuscule fractures in the veil. However, everybody they attempted to send through died instantaneously.
Wow.
It's ironic if you think about it, isn't it? There's an infinite number of worlds right behind the veil, yet we're stuck on the other side of the looking glass.
Yeah. That's a crossover then. Like StarCraft in this, or this and Command and Conquer. SpellForce and World of Warcraft. SpellForce and Pathfinder. Let me ask you something else.
Let me ask you something
SpellForce
else.
and Mass Effect. What's your take on our companions? Oh, we have two now. So before we only had you to pick from when I asked her. So if I go back to her, can I ask about her now? I guess I could.
What's your take on our companions?
Why?
Because I value your opinion.
Why?
Sorry, but I don't like these kind of conversations. I'm sure you're capable of forming your own opinions.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll ask her because I probably added her to it. Come, you don't have a dark elf accent.
How come you don't have a dark elfin accent?
My accent? Oh, I lost it ages ago. When I moved to that remote village where I conducted my studies. They had their own dialect.
Okay. Did you hear back from the Black Company's leader yet? You mentioned you lost your family to the Bloodburn. What happened?
Back in Lar, you said that you lost your family to the Bloodburn. Would you... Well, would you like to talk about it?
No. I'm sorry, but I don't see how my personal life is relevant to our mission. I am here because the God of Light is a threat to us
nothing,
all,
didn't he?
and I want to see the matter dealt with as swiftly as possible.
Ay, ay, ay. You feel easy around people you know?
Don't you feel easier around people you know?
Of course I do. However, I'm not here to feel easy,
Well,
but to stop the God of Light from devouring this world.
bit defensive there. If you ever feel the need to talk about it, I'm here. We need to feel at ease. You're under my command, I demand to know. It's up to you.
Well, if you ever feel the need to talk about it, I'm here.
I don't think that will happen, but I appreciate the sentiment. If it's conversation you want, why don't we talk about your past instead?
I'll turn it
Judging
around.
by those nightmares you have, and according to the rumors, your waters also run deep.
Okay. How do you know what my nightmares?
Wait, how do you know about my nightmares?
Well, I'm a light sleeper myself,
So it hears me.
and it doesn't take a dreamweaver to connect those shouts that came from your tent just before we arrived in La, and a pair of bloodshot eyes to your ominous
I was a
past.
born night, going humpy. You thinking that? You talking about that incident in Qual? I don't remember. Well, that passes none of your business. Don't remember. I want him to be honest with him, but obviously he doesn't know, does he? Like, passes none of your business. That's just being how I'm not telling you. I don't want to talk about it. If you talk, and I think that's been a bit rude. I don't want to talk about it after I'm trying to get you to open up. If you're talking about the incident, I don't remember, so that must be the truth.
If by my past you're talking about that incident in Imperia, I have to disappoint you. I don't remember it.
Oh, that's fine. I wasn't interested in the details anyway. I only care about the result. You made a tragic mistake, and other people paid the price for it.
What's my mistake?
In the end, that's what it comes down to, isn't it?
I guess. What are you getting at?
I merely want your opinion on a question I haven't found an answer to.
Okay, what?
Say a person makes a terrible mistake. How can that person be sure he or she won't do it again if confronted with an identical situation?
Okay, there's two things. There's either A, if I come in that situation again, he's questioning if I won't do the same, whatever he did back then to kill them people by mistake, his company won't do it again. Or B, he's got a mistake that he's done and he's worried that he's going to pull the same trigger again. You can never be sure. There are no identical situations because he learned from this mistake. If I say that though, if I don't remember it, how can I learn from it? Never be sure.
You can never be sure. Every situation is a new trial.
I think so too. Frankly, I think most people are too quick to forgive themselves for their mistakes. It's almost as if they believe that their apologies and regret undo them altogether. They don't. I know it sounds dramatic, but if an innocent ever suffers under your actions, it leaves a stain on your soul. And that stain stays for the rest of your life, which
Wow.
is good, if you ask me. Some sins don't deserve forgiveness, and some sinners don't deserve absolution.
You talking about me?
So,
Or
what
yourself?
exactly are you saying? That I am beyond absolution?
I don't know what you did, so I can't say. I guess what it boils down to is that people who messed up, whoever they may be, would do best not to forget that, and be particularly aware of their actions and decisions.
Yeah, my guy got it literally. Don't believe in second chances then? You're right, people are too quick to forgive themselves. I don't care about absolution, it's the theoretical anyway.
You don't believe in second chances then?
Second chance as in a chance to wash away your guilt? No. The people who suffered from your mistake didn't get it, did they? So why should you? All that being said, I do approve of the Queen's decision to make you General of the Wolf Guard.
Good.
I even see why she did it.
Why?
It's better to have someone who knows their demons lead us than someone who doesn't. Now let's get back to the task at hand, shall we?
Okay, I'll go and check with her quickly what she thinks of her, and then we'll sort her out, and then it's probably the end of this episode, and we can hit the thingy next episode. I think this is what I said last time, wasn't it? But I think this time we will. I was hoping to finish this conversation last episode, but we had a lot to say.
General,
Hey.
what is it?
Oh, Dre. It's tough. How are you holding up?
I wanted to check in with you, see how you're doing. Especially after... well...
After we met Tahar's murderer? I appreciate the concern, but really, I'm fine. If anything, I'm glad that the murderer has a face now. Or a mask, in this case. I can't change that Tahar's gone, but I can make sure that the bastards responsible pay.
We'll get on. Sure, are you sure you're okay? Well, I'm here. If if you need me.
Well, if you ever need someone to talk to, I'm here.
Thanks. Now, where were we?
Companions.
What's your take on our companions?
Oh, so we're doing the gossip thing? Sure, why not?
Oh, she didn't pop up. Oh, that sucks.
How would you like to grab a drink?
A drink? Why? Do you need to discuss something?
Know who I'm fighting with. I'd like to get to know you better. Could do with a little break, that's all.
No, I'd just like to get to know you better.
Oh? Well, sure, why not? I could use a breather. So, yeah, sure. Let's go. I know a good spot.
Where are we going? We're gonna get a little chat in now, or... They going on a date? We're just gonna come back to the room, that was great.
No way! You're making this up, right?
Like what up?
No, that's what he said.
This potion shall grant you the virility of a bull.
Okay.
That one's Rain's. Hard to believe that line would work on anyone. But then again, Empyreans are a funny folk. You know, as a child I always wanted to cross the Sea of Dreams. See all those exotic places the bards always sing about.
What stopped you?
Money, mostly.
So most people.
Now, responsibility. I'm a circle mage. I don't feel like one, and I'm not sure I'm doing a particularly good job at it.
You're doing great.
Still,
So far.
I can't just turn tail because I feel like it, can I? People are counting on me.
You're doing a good job. Had you crossed the Sea of Dreams, where would you have gone?
Say you had crossed the Sea of Dreams. Where'd you have gone?
Kalea, maybe? Or Zhu. Ultimately, I don't think the place would have mattered. What I've always loved about the idea of traveling to a new country is that it would have been a fresh start. You know, turning the page, starting over.
Always take your past with you. I've been waiting to do that for a long time. I hear you. Turning the page, you always take your past with you. Technically. Unless you cut off all communication, then I guess you wouldn't. But then again, you show your memories. I've been waiting to do that for a long time. I want to do that there. Again, I only moved to America because of Super Tiffy. I didn't meet her when I came here. I would have stayed in Britain. The only place I ever wanted to possibly live in Britain would have been Canada. I just always had a thing with Canada. You know, I've never been there in my life at this point. I hear you. I hear you.
I hear ya.
Anyway, we digress.
I see other things. Oh, now, what made you stay after the Purity Wars was over?
Now that you mention it, I've been wondering. What made you stay after the Purity Wars were over?
Good question. Do you know the saying, if everybody would take care of himself, then everybody would be taken care of? That used to be me.
Okay.
But then during the Purity Wars, I came to realize that that's nonsense.
Why?
Because it completely ignores that there are positions of power. If you'd come across a woman being robbed by two highwaymen, you'd help her,
Yeah.
right? You'd do it because she probably couldn't help herself.
Okay.
But you could. The more powerful we become, physically or in society, the more responsibility we have. It's easy to ignore that if you've never needed help from someone else. Or in my case, if you've hit rock bottom and fought your way up on your own.
Okay.
Because especially then you think, I didn't get any help, so why should others? But that's a fallacy. Just because you had it hard doesn't mean everybody else should.
Yeah, I agree with that. Why aren't you doing a good job?
What makes you think that you're doing a bad job as a circle mage?
Oh, I don't know. I just don't feel very authoritative, I guess. And honestly, those formal gowns? Ugh. Whenever I have to wear them for a conclave, I feel like a peacock. And don't get me started on the bodices. How some women wear these things voluntarily is beyond me. Then again, out of all the circle mages, I'm probably the best fit for these things. I mean, gore at a royal conclave? Uran? No thank you.
think you're doing great.
For what it's worth, I think you're doing a good job.
Thanks.
But you aren't planning on giving up your position anytime soon, are you?
No, of course not. But enough about me. What about you, General Arif? What drives you? Yeah, you're acting under orders, but I still can't help but feel that this mission is personal to you.
You have to do something about the God of Light. Religious fallen orders. Not everybody gets a second chance.
Well, somebody has to do something about the God of Light, right? It's just the right thing to do.
Very noble. Anyway, I had a great time, but we've been talking for over an hour now.
Oh, okay.
We should probably get back to the wolf chamber. I mean, we don't want there to be any gossip, do we?
Probably not. What do you mean? I don't mind.
I wouldn't mind.
Is that so? See you around, General. I'm glad you joined us.
Hey, a toast. Getting drunk with Yria. Oh, we got drunk, did we?
Go ahead.
Okay, what we on? Oh, 26 minutes. Okay, so next episode, we'll have a look at this and finish. I assume we've got to 10 thing and sort her out, and then we'll finally start doing the quests again. Well, technically, I'm still doing quests, aren't I? I'm doing side stuff, so. Anyway, I've been IVATOPIA. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. See you next time, everyone. Boy!